So we would like to welcome you all to our first 100 Women Who Care Giving event. Yay! My name is Andrea Imbriaco, and I'm humbled and excited to be here. My goodness, look at the group that we have. We've had to bring in extra tables and chairs and everything else, so this is really, really very exciting. I'd like to introduce to you our leadership team. We wouldn't be here without these amazing women who have been so helpful. So we have Sue Hanley. You met Beth Matthews when you walked in the room. So Beth, we have Jeannie Morrissey and Mary McCauley. Thank you so much, ladies. We really couldn't have done this without your support, so thank you. Mary was responsible for designing our logo. Didn't she do a great job, right? Yes. So I would also like to thank Frolic and Detour. They have donated this beautiful room, the flowers on the table, the hors d'oeuvres that they had put out. So thank you so much. We really appreciate all of their efforts and all they have done to help us kick off our first meeting. So thank you. In just a few moments, you will learn about 3 remarkable charities that you as members nominated. Each organization will have 5 to 7 minutes to present, then you will have the chance to ask them questions. After, you will vote for which charity you would like our donation to be awarded to. That is the hard part. Votes will be counted and our Impact Award recipient will be announced. Lastly, our giving event will end with a group photo. Then you are welcome to stay and enjoy each other's company. So let's get started.
So we're now going to have presentations from 3 nominated charities that were selected randomly during a meeting of the board in late February. So our first charity is Live for Live, and I would like to introduce Jody Marchand.
We got a mouthful of order.
Jody Marchand was the nominating member of this charity and will be making a short presentation.
Live for Live. I'm going to show you this. Live to give. Live to give. It could mean 2 things. I'll cover both in just a few minutes. My name is Jody Marchand. I'm with the Live for Live Foundation. The Live for Live Foundation was formed in memory of my daughter, Olivia. It was formed in her memory. It was formed to educate as well as help victims of domestic violence. I'll first start with what happened to me very quickly, I hope, and let you know what we're about, why I'm here, and why I am giving money. February 1st, 2010, I came home from work. I had been with this guy for 30 years. Met him when I was 19, knew him till I was 50 years old, just a little while ago. And I got home from work. He was mad over something. I don't remember what it was. We'd had a fight the night before. It was Monday night. He came home. He was angry. He started to choke me. I was like, oh my God. I couldn't believe it. And all of a sudden he let go. I called 911. I hung up because I was scared because we had guns in the house. And he would be mad that the police came, and so I hung up. And then in walks my Olivia. My intelligent, beautiful senior in high school, Olivia, and she was going to make cookies, and I said, no, we got to go. So she knew exactly what I was talking about. I went upstairs to change out of my pajamas. She came up with me. She was leaning against the bureau waiting for me to change. My husband came up with a gun. He shot and he murdered my child. And then he shot me in the head. Then my left temple shattered my jaw, and now the bullet sits on my right shoulder. Education is huge. My mission, though, in my life, is to help every victim I can get out of a dangerous situation where they do not suffer the tragedy that I suffered. We will help victims become safe, and they will become independent in Liv's Independence House. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jody. So our next charity is the Mass Coalition to Prevent Handgun Violence, and I would like to introduce Kiki Cote, who is the nominating member who will introduce the presenter.
Thank you all for listening to me. I'm Kiki Cote. I teach 4th grade in Chelmsford, and I'm a Chelmsford resident. And I did nominate the Massachusetts Coalition to Prevent Gun Violence because I am shocked and horrified and heard a story right in front of us, but of the statistics around gun violence in America right now. We have gang violence, we have domestic abuse, suicides, mental illness, and mass shootings. The more I read about it, the more ignorant I feel. So fortunately, Ruth Zacharin is here to tell you more about the coalition and the work that they're doing locally in Massachusetts.
Good evening, everyone. Again, my name is Ruth Zacharin, and it's really a pleasure to be with all of you. And before I start, I also just want to acknowledge and honor the story that Jody shared with us. And I'm truly sorry for the loss of your daughter and what you've had to go through. So I am here to tell you a little bit about the Massachusetts Coalition to Prevent Gun Violence. We approach gun violence as a public health issue that is driven by racial and economic inequity. And so our charge is to really address the issue of gun violence, both in terms of the proliferation of guns in our society, but also really working deeply around root causes of violence and addressing policy and practice changes that will help alleviate those root causes so that our communities can be more peaceful. So we're excited to be doing that work. We're excited to be rolling out this curriculum, and we are excited to have our leaders and decision makers hear directly from the young people most impacted by the issue of gun violence. And thank you for having me.
Thank you very much for that presentation. And last but not least, our third presentation today is the Paul Center for Learning and Recreation. And I would like to introduce Jeannie Morrissey, who was the nominating member and will introduce the presenter for this charity.
Hello, everybody. I'm glad the mic is at my level. But it was so wonderful talking to so many people tonight. They want to give back. To give back is even more of a reward within your own heart. And I loved hearing that pulse tonight. So I've nominated the Paul Center of Chelmsford. And I had no idea. I heard about it, but I didn't know it existed until my friend Karen asked if I could help her in doing a Christmas program at the center. And man, I'm so glad she did it, because when I got to actually see the facility, my heart was just, I wanted to cry, because I realized this is a facility that is giving everything it can for students that need help. But then I sat for a second as we're walking through and realized this program cannot continue unless it gets funding. And they do need funding, and that's why I want to introduce to you Brian Landers.
Guys, thanks for inviting us tonight, and I want to thank the first two charities that got up and spoke. Those are great initiatives that you guys are putting forth, and I really feel that we're lucky to be here presenting with those groups that well represented. So thank you. I'm the president of the board. I grew up in Chelmsford. Camp Paul is in Chelmsford on Concord Road. It was established in 1968. I wrote some notes here. I may not follow them at all, but if I forget, I'll go back to them. Camp Paul started in 1968. It started with donated land. Tents were pitched for kids to attend. It's a program developed for kids with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And kids would go to school. They would end up leaving school in the summer and regress. Kids would attend a camp, and they would spend the entire summer learning. They didn't know they were there learning. They were attending camp. They were attending camp with their peers. They were attending camp with their friends. And they were also getting their IEP, their individual education plan addressed as they went through this learning session. We're a 16-acre campus in Chelmsford. We have a fishing pond. We have a gazebo. We have 3 permanent buildings. We have 18 cabins. We run year-round programming. And the biggest hit for all the kids is we have a built-in swimming pool. We hire teachers. We hire specialists. We follow individual IEP plans. And the kids go through a structured program while attending camp with their peers. It's a wonderful environment to be in. And I didn't follow anything on here, but I do encourage you guys to come out and see it. It's a wonderful place.
Thank you all for all those great presentations. So at this time, everyone who has registered and signed up should have received a ballot. On the table there are pens, so just circle one of, one choice. And we're gonna come around with a box, and you're gonna put it in the box. Mary's coming around now. It will take us a few minutes to figure out who got the most votes. But please stay, because we will be presenting who that is.
And we have a winner. Congratulations to our first Impact Award winner, the Mental Health Foundation. So thank you.